And Operation Southern Spear, the attacks on suspected drug-running boats bound for the U.S. from the Caribbean. The Pentagon spokesman says defense intelligence confirms irrefutable evidence that those on board the vessels were narco-terrorists. And it says military as well as civilian lawyers have deemed the military strikes legal. If you've ever suffered a bad case of sticker shock while checking on new car prices, relief is on the way. President Trump relaxing what he calls horrible and very costly requirements imposed by the Biden administration. The Trump administration continues working to end the war in Ukraine. The White House says Trump envoy Steve Witkoff will meet today with Ukrainian negotiators in Florida. The Dow futures 45 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. The Food and Drug Administration has warned Kansas shoppers to double-check their shredded cheese. An Ohio-based company, Great Lakes Cheese Co., recalled multiple products they sent to 31 states, including Kansas, for potentially containing metal fragments. The recall was originally initiated October 3rd, but has resurfaced as it was reclassified as a Class 2 situation. Defined as when use or exposure to a certain product may cause temporary or medically reversible adverse health consequences, or where the probability of serious adverse health consequences is remote, according to the FDA. The recalled cheeses sold under the Great Lakes Cheese umbrella or other brands included the basic shredded or mozzarella and provolone Great Lakes cheese, Great Value cheeses, and many more. We'll have a full list of all of the recalls on our website. For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Some overnight and early morning freezing fog and sleet may make the morning commute a little bit slick on elevated surface and roads, mostly along and west of Highway 25. Today, that fog will burn off. It'll become sunny and breezy. Southwest winds at 10 to 20, gusts in 25 miles per hour. Highs will reach into the low 40s. Tonight, some clouds return. Light west-southwesterly winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows in the lower 20s. And tomorrow, it'll be cloudy and breezy. Northwest winds at 15 to 25 miles per hour and highs in the upper 40s to lower 50. Lows will be in the upper 20s. Saturday will be windy, cooler with a few sprinkles or flurries possible. Northwest winds 25 to 35 miles per hour. Highs around 45 and lows drop into the upper teens. Sunday will remain cloudy, windy, and cooler as a Clipper system exits the plains. Highs will be in the low 40s and lows in the lower 20s. This meteorologist Chris Schrumick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Merry Christmas from the Farmers State Bank in Oakley. We invite you to stop into our lobby for coffee and cookies throughout the month of December. as our small way of saying thank you to our loyal customers. We appreciate your business in 2025 and throughout our 118 years of community banking and look forward to serving you in the new year. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should.
But there's nowhere to go. Who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who. Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. When duty calls, they answer.
Fall is here, and so are big savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation up to $7,000 off with eligible GMC loyalty. Check out the 26 GMC Arcadia 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. On the Chevy side, the 2026 Equinox is 0% APR, and the 26 Colorado Trail Boss gets $500 customer cash or 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. Harvest the savings this fall at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
This holiday season, jolly old St. Nick and his helpful elves at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware are stocked up and ready to make Christmas merry and bright. From festive decor and handy tools to gift cards and great stocking stuffers, they've got something for everyone. Go bigger with Traeger or Weber grills or even Blackstone griddles, Yeti coolers, or powerful Ego snowblowers that make winter easy. Make holiday shopping simple. Shop local at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon the crossover back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the insurance agency, Pest Away LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, and the Farmers State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
Brown trots ahead for the Cards, pulls up for a deep three. No good. Slam dunk followed by Klingberg
waiting on it. Help him. And now he's in trouble, Klingberg. And here's Protas in alone, short-handed. Drops it, they score. Brandon Duhame, a short-handed goal. It's a 4-goal first period for the visitors.
Crocker Johnson handoff to Tyson. Open three, left wing. Got it! Minnesota 6-0 run, and they lead by 3.
Jokic has it up the left sideline. Hands off behind him over to Jamal Murray. Murray has it for 3. Yeah! That's a 50-piece for Jamal Murray of Indiana. Nuggets lead at 128-112.
Well, I sure hope everyone is getting around safely this morning. That's all I care. I hope if you haven't left your home that you are be extra cautious as you're making your way around the listening area. Yours truly bit it this morning on the slick ice. And
no.
I am feeling it. Oh, my gosh. And, of course, Raleigh was just inside the studio. He could see me fall and bit the ice. It was rough. I open up the door of my pickup, take one step out, slip on that one foot, and fall to the ground on the freezing pavement. Oh, man, the left side of my body is sore.
Ugh.
Not a good start to the day, Mr. Schuh. That was tough. Tough start.
Is not ideal. Thankfully, I got lucky and managed to park away from the ice and somehow avoided it. It's not quite as bad here in Colby ice-wise as it is in Goodland, but I saw it last night. That was that drive home was.
Yeah, how was that drive home? A little tricky.
It was bad. Thankfully, no one else was where I was, but I hit some black ice and kind of
did a little fishtail in there
around a little bit, but kept control.
That's a professional. You're used to this stuff. This is your type of weather. You're used to this snow and ice stuff.
It's my domain.
Yes. So you're a master driver in this. I'm pretty good at it too. I'm pretty decent too. I don't have any problems with it, but I'm telling you, I just opened the door. I had my water in my one hand and my keys in my other. And I just opened the door like I usually just stepped out and whoop, bam.
Pretty cartoonish.
Yeah, probably. I'm lucky. I guess I didn't hit my head on the running board of my pickup. That would have hurt.
Yeah, jeez.
It was not a great start. Pretty sore here and on my shoulders. I fell right on my shoulder and stuff. So not a great start to the morning. My story, my pain, I want no one else to experience that pain this morning. So particularly if you're living, on the very, very western edge, maybe in eastern Colorado, be extra cautious today. Don't be going late somewhere. Don't be expected to go fast in your car. It is slick out there. So take extra time, leave early, and if you're stepping anywhere, make sure you take tiny steps and all that stuff. So grip with your toes. I think that's a cool running. Grip with your toes.
Wear a pair of boots or something that's got good grip on the bottom.
Yep, don't wear what I wore today. That was a mistake. So I slipped and fell, and that was rough. So let my pain be not your pain this morning here on this December the 4th. It is a pretty overcast morning, 41 degrees expected high today. But like I said, the big story is the ice, and it is everywhere. So especially in Goodland, as I experienced. So be cautious. Be careful. Lots and lots of ice out there. So be careful. Today's program, Riley Gates of On3 Sports. He's going to stop by and visit with us about the news of the day yesterday that Chris Kleiman is leaving Kansas State. He officially made his announcement yesterday at 4 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Mountain Time. He had a prepared statement. I have some audio from that coming up here in just a little bit. So we'll get to that coming up here in today's program. We will get to an NFL Power 5 on the back end of the show. It's a great week. The NFL's got a great week of games. There's a great slate, some really, really good games. We'll get just little JUCO hoops recaps as well. Tough night last night for both Fort Hays Tech Northwest and Colby Community College, going a combined 0-4 last night on the hardwood. But I want to get to more thoughts and continue to expand upon this Chris Kleiman situation. When you have a story like this that impacts, that is so big and I think impacts our area so much, you got to hit it. And so I know we touched on it yesterday. We got into the news. We had the breaking news here on it. The news broke yesterday by On3 that Chris Kleiman was going to step down and that Colin Klein was going to take over as the K-State Wildcat head coach in the next year. One of those two things is for sure a fact. Chris Kleiman is stepping down. He stated, he wanted to spend more time with his family. He wanted to, I think he was just burnt out and worn out. Listening to that press conference, he just seemed burnt out and worn out with what had gone on. I think not only this season, maybe the previous two. And I'm sure going 6-6 doesn't help that. I'm sure social media has. I really do believe that social media got to him. I think the negative things that were said about him when they were losing some of these games, I think really got under his skin and really hurt him because he really didn't experience that, in his previous stops. At North Dakota State, he followed Craig Bull, who won multiple national championships. And guess what? Kleiman continued to win national championships at NDSU. And then he went to Kansas State where he had to follow another great in Bill Snyder, but he did a great job of following him by continuing to win games. And so a few things stood out to me. One of the press conferences, the applause that he got before and after his statement was amazing. It was like a good almost 30 seconds of applause, standing ovation for him After the first one, he had a great quote. This is Chris Kleiman, right after the big-time applause when he first sat down to give his retirement announcement.
I can't thank everybody for being here. It just goes to show me and prove to me that the good guys win, and doing things the right way and doing it with class and doing it with integrity is the right way. And guys, that's the K-State way.
And I'm not going to lie, hearing him and watching him talk at this press conference yesterday, and maybe reading the tea leaves, and even listener Andy chimes in on our FB Bank text line 785-899-2222. It makes you wonder, do you think he stepped away, or do you think he was pushed out? Quote unquote, quotation pushed out.
I would say probably he stepped away because, like you said, it seemed like things were just kind of wearing on him at this point, especially, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, and we all saw the press conference after the Utah game. That's not a guy who is really excited to still be out there coaching. And it's not to say he doesn't love it, because you got to love it to be at that point. But I think he went out on his own accord. I don't know why the AD would push him out like that, or the school, after I think the success he's had recently. It was one meh year right here after a couple of really good ones. And I think he had a lot of trust, and a lot of the fans liked him. I think a lot of the people, a lot of his detractors, it's more of a vocal minority than anything. And I think there was more approval for him than not. And I think he left on his own accord.
Listener Andy says, sad. He got pushed out for Klein by fan pressure the same way Will Howard was pushed out for Avery Johnson. Andy, I don't want to disagree with you. I would say there's probably some truths in that.
Thanks for
I would be
Howard.
surprised if Gene Taylor felt that much pressure to push his boy out like that. So I guess I am more, as a nonpartisan, because I'm not a K-State grad, I'm not a K-State alum, I'm not a K-State fan. Just judging it from how I'm looking at the situation with completely nonpartisan glasses on, that was a man who I think was burning out, like you said, Connor, was wearing out. And there's a quote that we're going to play here a little bit later on. It's a long one, but it's from Gene Taylor. And I think it was the quote of the entire press conference. And I will get to that here in just a little bit. One more thing from Kleiman before we move on to what Gene Taylor said. Chris Kleiman, he was proud of what they accomplished there at Kansas State.
I'm proud of what we accomplished in these 7 years. Won a Big 12 championship. I think we had eight or more wins, and there's 8 teams in the country that had that for 4 straight years. And we made it to a bowl game 6 out of 7 years at a place like Kansas State.
Another thing that really stood out to me was his appreciation for the media that followed his program. Boy, he gave a lot of love. He's like, I love everybody in this room. And I'm sure there was more than media in there, but, he really appreciated all that stuff. But, he pretty much said, yeah, I'm going to go take some time with my family. Actually, I'm leaving here shortly. We're going to go spend time with my kids and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to step away. He's pretty young to retire in the coaching things, if you ask me.
58.
Yeah, pretty darn young. Andy continued to say, Gene didn't push. Continual fan negatives comments about the coaching staff, hence the respect comments after the Utah game. I would agree. He had probably never in his life dealt with negative fandom because he always won. Even when he came to K-State, like he said, he had multiple 8-win seasons, made multiple bowl games, won a Big 12 title. He did a lot of great things at Kansas State. Did a lot of great things. And boy, and I'm sure that the fan pressure got to, and there's no doubt that the fan pressure got to him. But I do not believe that he was pushed out by Gene Taylor. I do not believe that one bit. Those two are buddies. I do not believe that he would push his guy out. I believe he felt the pressure of, geez, these people are getting under my skin, and they're going attacking my players. And this is a guy who, if you listen to his press conference, he loves his players. He would lay his life down for them. And so I think it got to him. And I think he's like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And now, and then Gene, so after he visited for a little bit, was there anything else that you want to add to Kleiman on his thoughts?
I guess I was kind of just thinking about the fan pressure thing. And obviously he's won everywhere to this point, but this is probably the first time, at least, like he's been in this big of a national spotlight since he's kind of like, well, K-State was always a decent program, but really kind of elevated them in the past couple of years. So that puts more of a target on your back for success. And then in turn, like you said, I think it creates that extra fan pressure because even at North Dakota State, like national media probably isn't thinking about them too much. So even if you have a little bucket of fans that may not be happy if you lose like one game there, because that's the standard.
Yeah, don't lose more than one.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. And same could go for his first few years at K-State, but he became more of a name as it went on. And with that, I mean, whether you like it or not, that comes with that added pressure from fans, media, and everyone else in the national spotlight at a Big 12 program.
Yeah, I think he kind of got put in a tough spot these last couple of years. I think part of it was fan pressure. I really think the portal, and I'll have stuff to back that up. I really think the time in college football, the portal era, has weighed a lot on him. When you're a guy that cares about players, you care about going out and recruiting kids as young men, bringing them into your program and developing them over the course of 4 or 5 years, and then sending them out into the world to go play professional football or go be a father or go do whatever. And that's no longer the case anymore. Now it's so transactional. I could just see where a guy like this who cares so much, it kills him.
Yeah.
He can't do it. And so my guess is when it was kind of a deal where they had to force out Will Howard because Avery Johnson needed to play, he probably hated that. And guess what? It didn't result in probably the success that they were hoping for that year, at the level of success. And then you go to this year where they had national championship, or sorry, not championship, college playoff, I think, expectations. They thought they had a good enough team to make the CFP. And they go to Ireland and they get beat, and they could not recover.
No.
Like every team that goes and gets beat in Ireland on the first game. I mean, go back to the history. You lose that first game in Ireland, you rarely have a good season. And Kansas State fell in that hole. And so I think that really tore at him. But once again, I'm happy for Chris Clemens, particularly if he's happy to be going and moving on and doing his thing. The quote of the day, I thought, came from Gene Taylor in his opening statement. So after Chris Kleiman got done speaking, he just got up and left. And I think he left the room. I think he just took off. I really do. He didn't take any questions. He just got up and left. And Gene Taylor came and sat down. An emotional Gene Taylor at that sat down, and I thought had the quote of the day. This is a long quote, 91 seconds, but it is a money quote from K-State Athletic Director Gene Taylor. And I think the biggest reason to why Chris Kleiman decided to hang it up yesterday.
You just saw one of the greatest guys in this industry walk out of this room and retire from coaching, from the business that he loves. And what really pisses me off is he's doing it because where we are in this industry. And if we don't get this thing fixed, and I mean, I'm a part of that, as every AD in the country and the conference commissioners, if we don't get this thing under control, more really, really good guys like Chris Kleiman are going to walk away from this business. And I've already seen some of my colleagues do it because they just aren't ready to deal with what we're dealing with. We have to get this thing under control. We have to sign these participation agreements, every school in the country. We have to come together and run the business as equally as we possibly can. And right now, that's not the case. And people are ignoring the settlement. They're doing things that are outside of the settlement, outside of the agreement, and we need to get it under control. If we don't, more good people like Chris Kleiman are going to leave this business. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure in my role as athletic director here and at some of the committees I'm on in the country to make sure that we figure out this thing out. But it really hurts me that guys like Chris Kleiman are leaving because what they came into the business for is different. Doesn't mean it's wrong, it's just different. And we have to find a way to make it as fair as possible across this country, and right now it's not.
Grand slam quote from Gene Taylor, K-State Athletic Director. So to me, yeah, there was fan pressure, and yeah, there was this and that, and you might be wearing out. I get that. But this is not the job that most coaches signed up for when they got into this business. Most coaches, as you know, are mostly in their at the earliest, mid to late 30s. And of course, some of them working into their 70s, like Kirk Ferentz over at Iowa. This is not the job that they signed up for. Once again, I go back to my quote prior. They came here or to an institution because they loved kids and they loved the game of football and they wanted to develop young men. That's why they got into this business. Most of them did. And now it's not about that. As I said before, it is so transactional. You could bring a kid in, but there's a good chance that he's not going to have a senior day experience with you as a coach because he's going to go to someplace else, if not more. And I think that tore Chris Kleiman apart on that whole ordeal. Absolutely tore him apart.
It's a shame.
I don't know what you have to think about that quote from Gene Taylor, but that thing was, to me, it was the biggest, most powerful quote of the whole day.
That's probably the most impassioned I've ever heard an AD speak about their coach. I mean, that was really something. I mean, sometimes you might think ADs when they're talking highly about a coach, it might be empty, but that didn't seem empty. It seemed like he really cared about him and seemed like he thought he was a very valuable part of this program, which he was, obviously, and is genuinely not happy he's gone. I mean, obviously, but you're not wrong. I mean, it kind of does illustrate it. He's a casualty of the new era of college football and college sports because not everybody can really adapt to it. And really, it feels weird because it's a little tougher to really get to know those kids when they're transferring over for a year or two, or they're transferring out of your program to go somewhere else. Because obviously you want to see them develop. They're a kid you recruited, or even if you recruit them in the transfer portal, you have to find a way to kind of still get that same feeling of like, I'm helping this kid out. What can I do for them? Even if they're a transfer, but it's definitely different than when you're recruiting a kid as a freshman, as an 18-year-old, then they're coming in, you see them till they're 22, 21 playing. It's weird. And I'm sure for a guy like him, who's a little older, like you mentioned, him and like the Kirk Ferentzes of the world, it's a little bit weirder.
Yeah, I just think that comment from Gene Taylor is just it's so right. You look around. I mean, Nick Saban, he didn't want to coach anymore. You know, Mike Krzyzewski didn't want to coach anymore. They probably could have. They don't want to anymore. They don't want to deal with this portal era. They don't want to deal with this stuff.
Roy Williams.
They don't want to deal with this. They know that they're hard on their players. They bring them in and they're hard on them, but they love them. And some kids can't handle it. I would bet money that there is a small percentage that the whole Dylan Edwards situation played an impact in this deal. You brought in Dylan Edwards. He was going to be a star player for you, and he ends up getting hurt and not really coming back to play. And there's been a lot. I don't know anything behind the scenes, but there's too much smell of that situation where there's smoke, there's fire. I would bet there is some part of that. It may be small that impacted this climate decision.
Yeah,
this is the era I got to deal with. I'm paying this guy, and he's coming in. I need him to play, but he doesn't want to play. You know, once again, these are all just hypotheticals.
Yeah,
but I could see it. I could totally see it.
I see what you're saying. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. How could you not? You know, and another thing to keep in mind about with Chris Kleiman is, you know, he got a tough hand. You know, when you're at North Dakota State, you kind of just get to keep your staff together because you kind of hide up there in Fargo. No, you know, yeah, you win, but no one's going to go pick a FCS Division I, program, something like that. Your coaches, you get to K-State and you win. All of a sudden, people are like, we need these guys. You had Colin Klein. He went to go to Texas A&M. You had Connor Riley. He's one of the best offensive line coaches in the nation. And after last year, where they had a great success running the ball, the Dallas Cowboys went and got him. And so he was stuck with Matt Wells. And I think the Matt Wells experiment failed him because Matt Wells was like, well, we're going to turn Avery Johnson into this great passing quarterback. Yeah, he's an okay passer. He's a great runner, though. And that's why K-State salvaged a bowl game this year, because they said, well, we got to take the shackles off Avery Johnson, let him run more. That's one of the reasons why. And they put the ball in. They went back to, as you heard in the Utah game when they ran for a school record. He goes, we went back to some old Connor Riley double A gap power. Yeah. And then guess what? Joe Jackson went off and ran his off for the last two games because they went to that. They found a running back in Joe Jackson. It was just all too late. He
almost had like 450 yards in that 2-game stretch.
Oh, I know. It was
insane.
It was insane. You're exactly right. But this is a fascinating deal, and I know I mentioned in the notes we talked about Colin Klein. I don't want to do that because it's not even official yet that he's going to be the head coach. Gene Taylor played it off like he hasn't talked to anybody or things like that. But you got people in A&M saying, yeah, he's going. I mean, so,
yeah, done deal.
It's a done deal. I feel pretty confident in that. But nonetheless, a sad day for the retirement of Chris Kleiman, because part of me says he would like to get going, but just the way things are in the world, he's had enough. And that's a tough deal. But it's not the first, and it's definitely not the last that we'll see this happen of coaches hanging it up, because Gene Taylor's right. They got to find a way to get this figured out. And I don't know if they can get the toothpaste back in the tube. I hope they find a way, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. Very, very difficult. Before we get to a break, I want to quickly highlight some JUCO hoops. Last night, a tough night for both Fort Hays Tech and Colby Community College. Colby Community College women could not keep pace with the top-ranked Dodge City Lady Conch, 64-48. Desi Ulmer had 21 points, 8 rebounds, both game highs, but 24 turnovers seemed to be the stat that kept Colby from hanging around closer in that game. They dropped to 5 and 6, and the slide continues, just like it's slippery outside. The slide continues for the Colby Community College men. They lost their 8 straight, fall to 2-9 as they fell at Dodge City, 86-79. Better offensive performance. DJ Kaysen, 24 points, accounted for 4 of 10 made threes for the Trojans. But Dodge City, it's once again about the defense for the Trojans, shot 53% from the floor and made 26 foul shots to hand Colby the loss there down in Dodge City. You were on hand to watch a little Tech Tiger hoops last night. What are your quick thoughts on the Tech Tiger men and women losses last night to Independence?
Both close. The women's team played first, and I thought they played really well. They held a lead for a lot of that game, but kind of lost steam.
I think that's what stinks, is they held the lead most of the game and it slipped in the end.
They didn't. They were shooting the ball well. They, especially in the first half, I think they hit like 5 threes in the first half, but they didn't shoot the ball nearly as much, nor as well in the second half. Seems like they went cold a little bit, and that led to the loss. And now they're 0-10. Really tough start. On the men's side, I mean, it was another game where they led for a lot of that first half and went into the half losing. And then it was felt like Independence was kind of running away with it towards the end. But
weren't they up by 11 with less than 2 minutes to play?
They were, but Tech, they made some big plays and forced a couple turnovers and managed to cut it to a 2-point game. And with some crazy calls at the very end, there was a play with 0.9 seconds to go. Independence inbounded from the backcourt, and I forget who it was, but he chucked it over the head. He was trying to lob it to a player in the front court, but he threw it so far that it rolled out of bounds before time expired. So Tech had a chance to run an inbounds play from the baseline to try and tie it, because 0.3 seconds, you can only really lob it up. And I think it was Khalil Kelly. He threw it into his own backboard, and they lost.
Oh, no.
I couldn't believe it. It was rough. But, I mean, I'd say they looked pretty good. DeKing Smith came back, and he played pretty well. The scoreline says he only hit 4 threes, but I swear I saw him hit a 5th, which would have made it 19 points for him. He played really well, but him and a couple other guys made some tough plays down the stretch, and I wouldn't say lost him the game. There's a lot of factors to losing the game, but there were a few plays that were some, I will say, were some head scratchers in that last minute.
JUCO basketball.
Yeah, but
sounds just like I think it would.
They played really fluidly in the first half, though, I thought. I mean, but it kind of was a little
got gunky there in the second half, didn't it? Got a little gunky.
Yeah.
Khalil Kelly, Q Dixon each had 16 points to lead Tech. And Marta Rodriguez had a double-double, 14 points, 10 rebounds for the Lady Tigers, but unfortunately had 30 turnovers, and that will hurt a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. There you go. So another 0 for night for local JUCOs. We'll take a break. Our good friend Riley Gates of On3 Sports, he's going to join us and talk about not only, of course, the Chris Kleiman situation. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on his Dallas Cowboys tonight. He's a huge Cowboys fan, and this resurgence, I'm sure, has got him all fired up. So look forward to visiting with our good friend Riley Gates from On3 Sports next here on the Blitz.
Fall is here, and so are big savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation up to $7,000 off with eligible GMC loyalty. Check out the 26 GMC Arcadia 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. On the Chevy side, the 2026 Equinox is 0% APR, and the 26 Colorado Trail Boss gets $500 customer cash or 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. Harvest the savings this fall at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
From drive-through banking to mobile deposit, we make it easy to get things done on your schedule. Banking should fit your life, not the other way around. This is Jessica Von Lintel at F&B Bank. Banking made simple.
In a small town, your banker should know more than just your account number. They should know your name. At F&B Bank, we believe in real conversations, friendly faces, and decisions made right here at home. I'm Paige Sneathen, Vice President at F&B Bank, and we're proud to serve your family like our own. Member FDIC.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
This is Austin Wright, the Anderson's Trade Group, and your morning market update. It is December the 4th. March corn, 444.5. May 26 corn, 451.5. July 26 corn, 456.5. March 26 KC wheat, 526.25. May 26 KC wheat, 538. July 26 KC wheat, 550.5. January 26 soybeans, 1119.75. March 26 soybeans, 1129. May 26 soybeans, 1138. Dow Jones futures are currently up 27 points at 47,981. S&P 500 futures are currently up 2 points at 6,864. NASDAQ futures are currently down 24 points at 25,633. Gold is currently down $8.30 at 4,224. Crude is currently up 45 cents at 59.39. For your grain marketing needs or more information on our freedom pricing tools, you can reach the Kansas City office, Jared Law, Tyler Gosch, Tom Saludo at 913-748-3000. In Colorado, John Hankey and John Styles, 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
What's on your to-do list? Check your mail? Get groceries? How about getting your annual vaccines? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. Because we've got you. With local vaccine events and access to transportation, protecting yourself and your loved ones is not a chore anymore.
You've got this.
A message from the Aging and Disability Vaccination Collaborative, powered by U.S. Aging. Funded by the U.S. Administration for Community Living through a grant.
Friends take good care of me. Wherever I go, they bring me home. But I got no place to be.
We are back here on a Thursday, December the 4th. Once again, it is a cool start. Temperature right now 29 and cloudy and high of 40s today. But the big story is the ice out there. Once again, be extra cautious as you are making your way, whether you are driving, riding, walking. Don't run. I will say that. No. Don't run today. I already bit it coming into the studio this morning, so extra caution is definitely what I want to say here. Extra caution, I would say, needs to be done today. So please be extra careful out there as you're making your way to wherever you need to go this morning, because it is extremely slick. Speaking of slick, let's bring on our good friend Riley Gates of On3 Sports. Good morning, sir. How are we doing today?
Slick. That's a new one. I should see if my wife wants to start calling me Slick.
Yeah,
I don't know if you like that one.
What nicknames does KT have for you these days?
Man, get over here. She uses that a lot. I mean, I don't know if it's a nickname, but she sure says it a lot. So maybe that's what she calls me now. I don't know.
She needs to
Listen more.
Needs to get you one of those leashes, one of those retractable leashes like the dog. Get over here.
We've got plenty of leashes for the one dog we have, so maybe that'll just be like, just keep me corralled there.
Do you remember kids having that growing up? Do you ever remember that? I remember parents having that on kids when I was little. The leash.
I
thing.
remember seeing it like at Disney World and stuff. But
yeah, like they had kids were wearing like a belt or something like that, and the leash hooked in, and he said to pull. Get back here.
Yeah, thankfully I was never one of those people. But hey, it's still early in life, so who knows? Maybe that becomes me one day.
I suppose it is true. Riley Gates on 3 Sports, our guest. You've had about 24 hours to digest the big news here in the Sunflower State, or especially in Manhattan. Where do you sit here today with your thoughts 24 hours later?
Wow. Just wow. Like, I don't want to say I can't believe it happened, because like it was a very realistic scenario that a lot of people suggested a month ago, 2 months ago, but like the thought of it actually playing out, you started to shoot down because you were like, there's just no way that Chris Kleiman goes out like this. He's not built that way. He wants to come back for more. And then it was like, oh, Colin Klein's kind of like the hot name. He's in the SEC. Like someone bigger will come after him. And just to see it all play out like the way that everybody wanted to is crazy, because Ross, it doesn't happen to K-State. Like it never works out. It was always going to be Brent Venables was going to follow Bill Snyder, and that didn't work out. The Salina kid, he was supposed to come back and save K-State football. And then Brad Underwood was supposed to replace Bruce, and that didn't work out because Bruce won again. And then Brad Underwood was supposed to replace him again, and that didn't happen. This just never works out for K-State fans, and it finally did. It finally fell the way they wanted it to go. That's not a guarantee that it's going to work. That doesn't mean K-State football is suddenly a national championship contender just because they got the hire they wanted, but it finally went the way that K-State fans wanted it to go, and I think that's awesome.
Do you feel like is there more joy today? That is it because Chris Kleiman is leaving, or because the news that Colin Klein is taking over? Like, let's just say yesterday all it was Chris Kleiman's going to step down, and that's all it was. Would there be the joy that there is today about this news story that there is?
I don't know if I'd use the word joy as much as I'd use the word like optimism or relief. I don't think anybody was like done with Chris Kleiman in the stance of like, we don't want him around our program. He's toxic. He's, whatever. Like that wasn't the case with him. It was just very clear that he didn't have it anymore, whatever it is to do this job. He lacked the energy, the motivation, the desire, like all that kind of stuff. It wasn't there. And if you've been following K-State since he got here in 2019, it wasn't hard to see the decline or the changes of who he was as a coach. And so I don't think that's disrespectful to say. I don't think it's like outlandish to say. He didn't have it anymore. And a lot of people in college football are going that way. A lot of older coaches, in their 50s, pushing 60s, they don't want to deal with NIL, and they don't want to deal with, I say the transfer portal. He was obviously able to deal with the transfer portal, but it's gotten even crazier now. And I don't blame him. Like, I do this for a living, like covering college football, and even people are like, well, where's NIL today? Like, what's the roster cap? What's the money coming? And I'm like, honestly, like, I don't know. Like, it's so hard to follow. And I just can't imagine trying to deal with that behind the scenes and actually dish out the money. So I don't blame him for losing the spark and losing the energy. So no, I don't think there would be as much joy, because the joy is, oh my goodness, not only are we getting a fresh spark in our football program, but it's Colin Klein. It's the one that everybody wanted. So, but there would be energy, there would be optimism about, hey, it's time for K-State football to make a change.
Riley, Ross and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, and obviously it's more complicated than just this, but do you think the Dylan Edwards situation this year at all might have influenced him to leave?
I don't want to say that's if Dylan doesn't happen, he stays, but I definitely think that showed him like, oh my goodness, like I just can't do this because he fought so hard for Dylan, like the first time around the recruiting process, and then getting him to transfer again, and then the second that he's playing for him, he's just boom, he's out just like that. And I think probably the reality of that situation made him be like, if Dylan can do this, who a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever the timeline on that is, I was all in on, and we had a great relationship. If Dylan could do that, who's to say this doesn't happen down the road with a quarterback or my star receiver? Like, so yeah, like I don't think it's a situation where if Dylan doesn't go through all that, he stays, but I definitely think it was his like wake up to reality moment of it's never gonna be the way it was when I got here.
Riley Gates is our guest here from On3 Sports. I thought the biggest quote of the day was not even Chris Kleiman. It was Gene Taylor talking about why Chris Kleiman left the program. What were your thoughts on the reasonings why Gene Taylor thought that his buddy decided to step down?
I thought it was very telling because I've been following Gene Taylor since he got, like, I covered his hiring. So I've followed all his press conferences. I kind of know the way he talks. And when Gene doesn't want to really talk about something, he beats around it. He'll give you the cliche answer. But when Gene like really feels something, that's when he gets really powerful. And that's when he's like, he's really emphatic about it. And it caught me off guard because I was expecting him to kind of, if he went like at anybody or like got aggressive, I kind of thought he might go at K-State fans a little bit for like the whole, like, you guys didn't think he was going to be that good. And, look what he brought you type thing. And he didn't do that. He went at college football. He went at the government basically for the way that everything is being handled. And so, yeah, I think it was really telling that it probably not only pushed Chris Kleiman out, but he's probably saying too, like, I'm fed up with this. I'm about checked out. And if we don't start making some changes, like, everyone is going to be checked out. So I thought it was really telling. Like, I thought honestly, based on the rumors, Gene was going to be hanging up too. That's kind of what everybody was saying, that tomorrow there would be an announcement that Gene was done. I think it's very clear by that press conference he's not going to step down, and he's going to try to make one more push to change whatever he can, which I don't know if he can. I mean, it's so far gone. It's so far out of everybody's control, so who knows if Gene or anybody can really make a difference. But I think he's going to try, and I think that's really good for Gene Taylor to say and to stick around and try to do, because it is really getting out of control.
Do you think all the things that were said about Kleiman throughout the season with these last couple of years warranted, especially consider what he did? He did have multiple 8+ win seasons. He did win a Big 12 title in his tenure here. Do you think it was warranted for the stuff that was said about him?
Well, that depends which comments I'm reading. Am I reading the message boards and the For You page on Twitter, or am I reading the analysis on websites and newspapers? Some things obviously were out of line.
Something got. You for a fact. You saw the Utah Pro post-game press conference. Something got under his skin, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think I think that was a combination of, I'm frustrated by this job. I'm frustrated by losing. I'm frustrated by everybody getting mad at me. This was the first time K-State fans got like truly mad at him. And it started going back to last year when they won the bowl game, and he said, winning 8 games is hard to do, because I'll be honest with you, Ross, like, that's when I started to, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I like all my group texts are I'm saying glowing things about him. Like, I thought that was a pretty pathetic quote, that last year. And I thought it was pretty sad when he went to Oklahoma State and said, I'm not going to apologize for winning in Stillwater. It's a hard place to play. There were 15,000 people at that game. Like, come on, man. Like, some of these things he was saying, now that obviously he stepped down, it makes a little more sense. But so, yeah, I think it was fair to criticize him. I think it was fair to hold him to a standard, because at the end of the day, it's like, hey, thank you for the Big 12 championship. Thank you for winning 8-9 games a lot. But I'm not just going to turn a blind eye to the fact that they were 7-1 going into Houston last year and finished 7-5. And then this year they were 6-6. Like, yeah, you did good things, but you can't just ride on 2022 for 4 years. Like, you got to keep it going. And especially with the changes in the Big 12 where there was a seat open for the taking and K-State didn't really take it. I think it was very clear that like Chris Kleiman's time at K-State was nearing its end and fans were getting frustrated. So I think some of the, this guy sucks, this guy can't win. It was a fluke that he ever won the Big 12 championship. Like that wasn't accurate. That wasn't fair. But the comments of he needs to consider stepping down. He doesn't have it anymore. He's lost his fire. He's kind of accepting defeat. Yeah, I think that was fair. And I would challenge anybody to say it isn't fair because the numbers speak for themselves. They were 7-1 going to Houston last year, and they won 8 games because they won a bowl game. And then this year they won 6. It's kind of facts.
No, I agree with you there. A couple more quick ones for you. Colin Klein, if he is the guy, which it looks like it is. I mean, even people in A&M are saying he's the guy that's going to take this job. But Colin Klein, what do you think he's going to bring that is going to allow K-State to get to that next level like people think he will? I mean, there have been other homecomings that haven't gone smoothly at other institutions. Why do you think this one will work?
I think he'll bring energy first off, which, as I noted, Chris Kleiman just didn't have it anymore. He's obviously younger, but I think he's more ready to embrace the NIL and tackle that monster as Chris Kleiman wasn't. But the other thing I think he's going to bring is like bringing yourself up to the next standard. Okay. So like, yes, it's great that K-State was winning 8 games a year. That's fun. You're going to fun bowl games like the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Okay. Like, it could be a lot worse. Just ask KU fans would kill to win 8 games a year. But Colin Klein's been in the SEC now. He's going to the college football playoff. Like he's got that taste in his mouth. And I'm not saying that you should expect the playoff every year. I'm not saying K-State's going to own the Big 12. Like we're seeing what Texas Tech is doing with all that oil money. But I think Colin Klein's going to say, yeah, 8 games a year is great. Going to the Alamo Bowl is fun. But like we need to set another standard. We need to take the next step. He almost won a national championship for this program in a time that I would argue it was harder to win a national championship than it is today. And he knows what it takes to get to that level. He's going to have a good chance to win one this year too. So I think he'll bring that. I think he'll raise the bar a little bit, which I think K-State fans need.
Before we let you go, Riley, tonight your Dallas Cowboys play against the Lions. How you feeling tonight?
I hate this because I'm starting to feel confident. I'm starting to feel good. Like I've gone into the last few games like, oh no, it'd be great if they won, but they're underdogs and they're probably out of the playoff picture. It's fine. It's okay if they lose. Now I'm like, oh, the path to the playoffs is right there. The Lions are banged up. The secondary's down. Dak's playing great. This is when I get my hopes up and my heart gets shattered. This is when it happens. But I do. If Amon-Ra St. Brown is out, I think the Cowboys are going to win. I think that will change the game. If he's in, I'm a little nervous because the defense is playing better. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is another level of receiver that I don't think they've faced for a while. So I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful, but I'm not expecting a win. Let's put it that way.
Riley Gates on 3 Sports. Riley, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. And we'll catch up soon.
I will gladly do it anytime.
All right. Awesome, buddy. Great to visit with you. There is Riley Gates of On 3 Sports. Great stuff with him. I thought he'd be a great guy to bring on because I've read his social media and I know that he was not always the biggest Kleiman guy. But it was interesting yesterday to read and see all this hate about Kleiman. And then yesterday, it was like, oh, we love him. He's so great. Thank you so much for all you've done. It was like,
took him for granted.
You can't have it both ways, people. Either you like him or you don't. It's simple as that. All right, we get to our final break. We're going to have a powerful, and I do mean a super powerful NFL Power 5. We'll run through that next in the Blitz.
Now's the time to get a great deal on proven Kubota farming equipment. Tractors that are adaptable and versatile. Hay tools that are backed by a 2-year warranty. And durable sidekick utility vehicles and SSV skid steers. The Kubota agriculture lineup is built right, built ready. Right now, get select Kubota equipment for 5.49% APR for up to 84 months. Plus instant cash discount and 2 years extended limited warranty. Now through December 31st, go to KubotaUSA.com for more details. Colby Ag Center, Colby, Kansas.
The team at Burlington Ford would like to wish you happy holidays. They want to help you find the perfect vehicle and take care of it too. During this holiday season, ride in style with a new or pre-owned Ford from Burlington Ford on Rose Avenue in Burlington.
From the rehab department at Goodland Regional Medical Center,
we are grateful that you continue to trust us with your care and wellness efforts.
we wish you all a holiday season of peace, joy, and better health. Happy holidays!
This holiday season, jolly old St. Nick and his helpful elves at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware are stocked up and ready to make Christmas merry and bright. From festive decor and handy tools to gift cards and great stocking stuffers, they've got something for everyone. Go bigger with Traeger or Weber grills or even Blackstone griddles, Yeti coolers, or powerful Ego snowblowers that make winter easy. Make holiday shopping simple. Shop local at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby.
The Colby United Methodist Church wants to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from our family to yours. We invite you to join us all year long as you continue to grow in your Christian faith. Happy Christmas to all, and God bless us, everyone.
From the headlines to the highlights.
It's good! The Wildcats are champions of the Big 12!
This is the Morning Blitz.
All right. Once again, about 5-6 minutes to the top of the hour here. We're going to have a very quick Power 5, NFL Power 5. We got to because it's a great slate of games this week, isn't it? I mean, really good slate of games this week, I would say. So we will actually get to that right now. Let's see. NFL Power 5. Here we go. All right, Connor, take us away here. What's your honorable mention or number 5 game that you have here this week?
There are 6 games I had in mind, and I think you can just throw them together any way you can. And I think I just had this one off because it's not a division game. Philly at Los Angeles. I mean, it speaks for itself. Each of these teams are fighting for their division. Good stuff.
Interesting to see. Justin Herbert had surgery this week, and so will they start? Will he be? I don't know. They say he could be back, which I find fascinating. But hey, maybe so. We'll find out. My honorable that actually game is my number 5 game. My honorable mention game is a division game, Indianapolis at Jacksonville. Hey, like I said with Nick earlier this week, the AFC South used to be the real turd of the league. But now you got 3 teams with winning records vying for some great playoff spots. So
all of them can make it.
Yeah, really, they could. You're exactly right. All right, moving on. The NFL Power 5. What do you got next?
Texans Chiefs. This is probably the last gasp for the Chiefs. If they don't win this one, there is no chance. And the Texans they're trying to get a playoff spot of their own, and they got a really good defense. This is not going to be easy at all.
Was that your number 4 or number 5?
5.
Okay, I'm going to move. I said Eagles Chargers was my number 5. My number 4 is going to be Lions at Cowboys Cowboys at Lions tonight. Once again, the Lions confuse me because I feel like if they play to their potential, they're one of the best teams in football. I just don't think we've seen it very much this year. They haven't played to their potential. And the Cowboys, for whatever reason, keep winning. Despite you know what? Give Jerry his flowers. He knew his defense was bad. He went out and got some pieces to help fix that defense, and I feel like it has actually helped somewhat. And because of it, the Cowboys are having a surge here. Now watch. They're still going to fall on their face. I didn't want to say that with Riley there, but they'll still fall on their face. But Cowboys at Lions tonight, my number 4 game.
I've got it at my number 4, and I was listening to the Bill Simmons show the other day, and he was talking about how it's essentially a play-in game almost. And it's a little early to say that, but I kind of like that. You know, it's like the Texans-Chiefs game in a similar vein. Both of these teams are kind of on the fringe, and they both need this win so badly. Yeah, it's battle between 2 high-powered offenses. There's going to be a lot of points, I think.
That game is tonight, by the way, on Thursday Night Football. Should be a good one. My number 3 game is a game you mentioned already, Texans at Chiefs. I think this will be a very exciting. I think this is an interesting game. The Texans have the number 1 defense in all of professional football. We all know the Chiefs' offense has been hit and miss, but they can put it together when they want to or can. They will be without is it Jawan Taylor who's out, I think? No, Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons, excuse me. The left tackle out for 4 games after fracturing his wrist.
Oh.
And so Wanye Morris is going to get the start at the left tackle spot. That could be a problem against a very good defensive team. But Chiefs, Texans. Once again, Chiefs backs are against the wall. Really can't lose anymore.
No. Steelers Ravens is my number 3. I'd have it higher, but I think these teams just aren't as good as the other teams fighting for the top of their division. And Aaron Rodgers looked horrible the other day. And I forget if he got benched or he got hurt, but
He
Mason
got
Rudolph.
hurt. He was banged up. He has bleeding from his nose, all that stuff.
And he was 10 for 21, and he blamed his receivers after the game. So classic Rodgers move. Lamar and the Ravens haven't looked as potent as they usually do. He looks like he's aging a little bit, but this is still a fight for the top of the division. Both these teams are 6-6.
I am going to go with number 2, Cincy at Buffalo.
Whoa.
I know. I'm crazy. The Cincinnati's bad. You know what? They've been competitive, and Joe Burrow's back, and Buffalo has kind of been hit and miss at times this year. It would not surprise if we see Cincinnati win this game. And I think that's why it's number 2 for me. Cincinnati at Buffalo. Joe Burrow and the Bengals are way different of a squad than when they're not. No offense, Joe Flacco.
Yes. They've got a chance at the playoffs with how bad the North is.
That's my point. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Number 2, you said this one earlier, but Colts Jags. This is for the top of the South and the AFC. Fun game. Daniel Jones and company have not been looking as good, and T-Law is a turnover machine, but they find ways to win games. This will be a little messy, but fun.
Yeah. Do we have the same top game, I wonder?
Yeah, definitely.
Bears at Packers?
Yep.
Number 1 game.
I mean, come on.
I mean, look at this. This is hilarious. First of all, the storylines are great because the Bears, these two fan bases hate each other. And the Bears are finally on a roll. But could it be just the deviant Packers are the ones that put a stop to this roll? I mean, it feels almost too perfect to happen.
I hope not.
But, I mean, the Bears have played great. They look great. Ben Johnson's taking his shirt off in post-game celebrations for the Chicago Bears. They're having a lot of fun, but they're going up against the old-timey Packers who are always there, and they've had trouble getting over the hurdle. Will they get over the hurdle? That is the question.
I think so. And shout out to Kyle Monungai. He is threatening. Him and DeAndre Swift combined for 250 on the ground last game. They both got 100 yards. That's such a fun rushing attack.
They kind of have their new, like, Knuckles, what do they call it? Sonic and Knuckles, like they had in Detroit, kind of there in Chicago. It's been fun to see this Bears team kind of come together, over the course of this year. Yeah. All right, there you go. A very quick NFL Power 5, but we did it. All right, we got to get to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Grady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
I forgot to bring this up earlier in the show, but no better time than in the walk-off to talk some baseball. As the Rockies are making a major front office move, they are going to hire Dodgers executive Josh Burns as their new GM. Burns, with 25 years of experience with GMs with the Padres, the D-backs, and 11 seasons, helped building the Dodgers championship machine. Hey, not a bad move here from the Rockies. They have shown signs of life in the offseason.
That's not bad. Paul DePodesta is making things happen.
Thoughts on Jamal Murray dropping a 50 burger last night?
I wish I would have gotten to watch. He's awesome. He was injured. Now he's back, and he is that perfect second fiddle to Jokic. And if your second fiddle can go off for 50 on any given night, you're in a good spot.
They've got it cooking there. And, of course, tonight in local sports, little wrestling duel. The Goodland Cowboy wrestling team gets their season underway. They will be dueling at Scott City this evening. All right, that does it for the program. Thanks to all the viewers, by the way, first and foremost on the video stream. Big numbers today. Appreciate people tuning in there. Appreciate Riley Gates, and appreciate you, the radio listeners and podcast listeners as well. We're back again tomorrow on a Friday. Hope you join us in 23 hours. It's been the Morning Blitz.